It says we are live.
And I'm just waiting for it to turn up as a featured video. And hang on, just a second. Where are we? Yep, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to refresh the page again. These things are sent to tries when we start up. If I press the Facebook chat, I should be able to see.
We're there. Carlos Phoenix is in the room. Good morning, Carlos. How are you?
Hello, Carlos. Nice to see you, and to everybody else who's watching. We are again on WebinarJam. This is week 2. And last week we had great fun and 6 people on the screen. We're hoping that Mr. Robert C. Stern and Mr. David Burrows and Mrs. Bridgetti Lim Banda can join us.
Yes, because otherwise this could get boring real quick.
Well, with you and me, it could. You're quite right there. I mean, we may well stuff this up and have a total disaster of a broadcast, and everything may go wrong. But on a positive note, we are actually live on Facebook.
We are. I'm not getting a notification of that, which is probably part of the reason. But then again, that could be my...
All right.
No. Facebook is being Facebook and saying, no, you're not using the native app. So we are choosing to not say.
But that's the problem. And I found that this morning on Blabbing for Britain. We had a reach of 17. So the most people that could see us was 17. 13 actually did, and 4 of those took part in a great discussion we had about all the topics we normally talk about. But there is a problem that... okay, I'm just sending a link to Peter because Peter can't find us. So. Okay, so I sent the link to Peter. Robert did say it might be quieter this week, and it might be quieter this week. But I think that we are going to suffer from the vagaries of Facebook reach. I'm just going to share it out onto my own timeline. Just share.
Go onto the page. Well, the page says that it is live, so.
Yeah. And Kelly has just clicked it. Thank you, Kelly. Nice to see you. It looks like we've got to go on Facebook to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Weird.
Totally weird.
Really?
From the sublime to the ridiculous. Most definitely. Because who wants to see 2 guys on screen? I mean, everybody wants to see 6. Or 4. Or 8.
Carlos is saying WebinarJam, ouch. Why are you saying ouch, Carlos? Fernando, hello. Peter Stewart says he's ironing.
I don't believe him. He said he was going to have a bath. He must be doing the ironing beforehand. I've been bot sitting today. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. People arriving. What can people do if they want to join us on screen?
They would need to put their email either in the chat or they can message it to me directly if they have that ability. Yeah. And I will send you an invite. Carlos says he irons when he is dressed.
I
don't understand what that means.
No.
Carlos says he irons when he's dressed. So do you iron while it's actually on you?
It's probably safer. I can see a silhouette.
That's David Burrows.
Hello.
Greetings, gentlemen.
David.
Greetings.
How are you?
Greetings to you. How are things in Sarnia?
Pretty good. Got a busy day later on this afternoon, but it's a little chilly out there. But we live in southwestern Ontario. It's supposed to be cold.
It's been a balmy 14 degrees here today. Which
you're also supposed to keep that cold up there, and the past couple of weeks you've kind of not done your job. You've let it come down here. Not very appreciative of that.
I'll give a shout out to Mother Nature to see what she can do.
Please do.
Where are you?
Around. North Carolina.
Okay, all right. What like near Charlotte or what?
Nope. Eastern part. I'm east of Raleigh, about 50 minutes east of Raleigh. I sit right on 95, I-95.
Oh, okay, all right.
So if you drive I-95, I can throw rocks at your car.
I'll make sure to not drive by your house.
It's not really a house. It's more of it's my car. I live out of my car. And my studio is in my car. So
that's a pretty big car.
It's a hell of a studio to fit in the car. I'm quite impressed.
Absolutely. In North Carolina,
you can't do that because you did the piece about microphones from outside your house.
That was actually someone else's house, and after I was done, they came outside wanting to know what the hell I was doing. So it's a little awkward at first, but
no, your neighbour was waving at you, David. You just can't.
So, I'm not sure. Do we have a topic, or are we just jamming, or?
It's all up to Steven.
For the moment, we're jamming. I think the first thing, though, is that we are reaching a wider audience. It might be okay to take sort of a couple of minutes to introduce ourselves.
Certainly.
Because we know each other.
You first.
Well, yeah, okay. I'll bite my own bullet. I'm Steve Healey. I'm based in Wiltshire in the UK. I've been live streaming since the days of Blab. David, we all know each other from that sort of era. I am a moderator in the BeLivers group. Also part of the team on the original BeLive weekly show, which is now in its third version, and a Udemy instructor with courses about BeLive.tv. I enjoy live video, simple as. In my spare time, or rather my day job, I'm a software designer and I design systems for manufacturers and distributors. That's me in a nutshell. Oh, sorry.
Nice.
I'm going to let David Burrows go because I'm intimidated by that elevator pitch.
This is just a gentle conversation. I'm not pitching for business.
Well, I'm David Burrows here in Sarnia, Ontario, just right on the border of Port Huron, Michigan, and the good old US of A, our neighbors to the west of me. I can cross over into the border in about 10 minutes if the bridge is good. I'm a full-time broadcaster, social media broadcaster, internet broadcaster, whatever that is called, here in Sarnia, Ontario. Do about 3 shows live weekly and lots of sporting events and live streaming in general. It's just kind of what I do. So when I say living the dream, I mean it.
Indeed. That's 2 down.
I'm David Vaughan, and I have no value to offer, and I just show up, and they let me. I live in North Carolina. It's cold.
All right.
I don't know what else to say.
Okay. Well, I'll continue my way of thinking. I have 2 sons, both married. One lives up north in England, north of Manchester, in a place called Clitheroe, which is famous for its castle, amongst other things. And my other son lives in Melbourne, Australia, which is famous for being Melbourne. and at the other end of the world from us, really. And I'm looking forward to going to see my son in Melbourne in October this year. It's been a while since I've been over to Australia, so it would be good to actually head over there.
Nice.
Robert says that his link is not letting him in.
Maybe that's a clue. Sorry, Robert. Well, I wanted to mention something about Facebook Live that I noticed working on one of my pages. Maybe it was two. But I see that Facebook has created a stream key. You can create a permanent stream key now if you want.
Yeah.
I just noticed that yesterday. Has that been out for a while and I missed it, or?
I only noticed it today when I went to go live, and it said you can use this key again and again. So the RTMP link is same as it ever was.
Yeah.
But the key is now set permanent.
Yeah. Well, you can choose. You can make it permanent, or you can not make it permanent. And I like that they're doing that.
So what would be the benefit of that?
Well, you could set up Manycam and OBS or vMix, and you set it once, leave it, and it will work every time.
Yeah. Instead of having to put in a new stream key every time.
So I wonder if that circumvents or navigates around the issue of some of the platforms, and I'm trying to think, Lightstream. I'm not sure who else. Anyway, that allow you to, you broadcast to them, and then they broadcast you back out to all these different platforms that you set
Restream.
Restream.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was in the API for Facebook was, if you're going to go live to Facebook, you can't go live to anywhere else. So they would limit you to that. But if you set up a custom RTMP, which essentially is just going to Facebook, I wonder if that goes around that now. Or is that even still a thing? I don't even know if that's still a thing.
We need to speak to one of the developers to find out if the API now takes that into account. Okay.
Yeah, well, you can broadcast to other platforms besides Facebook if you're using an RTMP.
True. I went out to Periscope the other day. Nobody there, but I did broadcast to Periscope from within Lightstream.
Yeah.
And I got
and
6 people
Facebook?
viewing. No.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that. I mean, I for the reasons of keeping within Facebook's rules, I no longer use LiveLeap. I've switched it off entirely. And all the sharing that goes on is manual. Yeah. So 15 minutes before I went live today, I sent out a message which appeared on Facebook and it appeared on Twitter and LinkedIn to say we're going live in 15 minutes. But I do not auto share the live show because Adair Palmer, our friend in Adelaide, Australia, was put into Facebook jail because, and she tracked it back, her posts, which were shared into Facebook groups, were deleted. And I've had 2 videos deleted. So it's not worth the risk of automatic sharing now, in my opinion. And we tried to get hold of LiveLeap, but LiveLeap just don't reply. So it makes it a bit difficult. Because their tech would be interesting.
So is Restream not something that should be used then too? Is that what you guys are saying? Because I use Restream to go live to Periscope, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook.
No, I've used it. I'm just not one that's ever been a big proponent of multicasting, I guess is the term, because it's kind of hard. It's like going to, you can equate these types of, especially the one-to-many broadcasts, you can equate them to the same thing as being like going to a networking event. So, some kind of network show, VidCon or IT Expo or something. And you are going and you make the effort to see this person on stage giving the keynote or whatever. And so it's like the keynote person is there and he's talking to you, but he's also running across the stage and jumping onto another stage and talking to a crowd over there and responding to questions. It's all that type of back and forth. It's, go live one place. And honestly, you are hurting. You are not showing any respect for the platform, period. Because each platform is different. And the engagement that you do with those individuals is different as well. I
don't use it. I don't use it every time. It depends what I'm broadcasting. I'm selective about when I use it, but
right.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that was. I didn't see
think
anything.
that's it, because I found a way around to do it, and I had to do the custom RTM, and this is why I was asking. So basically, I had to set up a custom RTMP key, and I was using, I think, Switch. Switch?
Yeah.
And the custom RTMP was going to Facebook, and then it was also going, but then I could set up and go to YouTube, and I could go to Periscope and whatever else I wanted to go to. And now with the permanent key being there, you can set up the custom RTMP key, and you don't have to worry about anyway. So you can do it. It's just, it's not. It's kind of like having a message that you want to deliver, and so you make a video. All right, you put it up on YouTube, and then you take that same video on YouTube and you crop it and you chop it and all this type of stuff. It's the exact same talk, exact same type of message, and you post that up on Instagram. And I've been guilty of this as well, so it's not like I haven't sat there and shot holes into the bottom of the boat and seen the water bubbling up and saying we're sinking. But your audience on Instagram is going to be different than your audience on Facebook, than your audience on Twitter, than your audience on LinkedIn. And it's like going to, again, it equate it to a networking event. And there's a networking event you're going to, and the crowd that's there they're just a certain type of crowd. It's not that you can't be you, but we all kind of take on a little bit of a masked manifestation. We alter a little bit. We adjust to the crowd as we're there. You're not going to walk in and start cursing in front of a bunch of priests and nuns. Well, you might, but
no.
I have multiple audiences, right? I have different level audiences, so that's
right. That's what I'm saying.
Reason. Yeah.
You wouldn't want. So in your instance, you talk about you do various different, broadcasting stuff. So you're not going to sit there and do a broadcast on hockey, which is big up your way, and talk a bunch about soccer.
Right.
Or football, as they call it in the UK.
No, we call it soccer.
I have to say that I enjoyed, I was watching, we had the NFC and AFC championship games this past weekend, and the NFC game was boring because the Eagles were just stomping all over the Vikings.
Right.
And so I actually went and watched women's soccer.
There you go.
I enjoyed it. And USA won. And the funny thing is, there's an Ertz player on the Eagles team, which is the Philadelphia Eagles. They're the ones that won. And then there's an Ertz player, a female, on the Team USA, and they're married, and so they both won. And so, anyway, there's that cuteness.
Wow. Well, the best two women's soccer teams are the United States and Germany, by any stretch of the imagination. So,
well, there's a big cup or something coming up in March that they were talking about. I have no idea. I used to follow soccer.
Yeah, we're taking part two, and the two to watch are the USA and Germany. Okay. I'd like to think England too, but I'm biased. Yeah.
You Manchester United.
No, I come from a town called Burnley, which is, if you know where Manchester is. Manchester United is in the north of England. I come from Burnley, which is a town 20 miles north of Manchester, and we have our own soccer team in the same league as Manchester United. In fact, Manchester United beat us 1-0 last weekend. It was a close game. It could have gone either way. But we're in the same league. I mean, you got Manchester United, Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, somebody else, and then Burnley. And that's the order of the league at the moment, and 20 teams. So we're good. We're good. We don't have any money. I mean, the other teams spend as much on... We spend as much on one player as the other teams spend on the whole team as they spend on one player. That's the sort of arrangement we have. They can spend a few $100 million a year buying new players, and we can spend about 50. So, yeah.
You need to get David Vaughan to come play football for you. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the footballer that, if you Google David Vaughan, that's what comes up. Him. He's all over the place.
Okay.
He needs to retire.
There's also a Michael Vaughan who used to play cricket. So you're in soccer and in cricket as well.
There's a lot of Vaughans around. It's a Welsh thing.
I have a complaint about Facebook.
Okay. Just one?
Get in line.
I shouldn't say that, but because it's free. And Steven, I think I've heard you say this, but so when I first came on, I shared our broadcast, but I wanted to share it to my personal timeline, but I shared it back to the Be Live in 5 page because by default, when I go there as an admin, I have to click and change it to my personal.
It's been that way.
So it's just annoying.
It is.
I would like the default to be me personally, and then if I choose to share something by a different page or whatever, then click it. So I just wish there was a way to change what the default is, or maybe there is and I haven't discovered it. But I've looked hard.
See, and Facebook's an American company, and we're stuck in the middle. You guys up north are saying one thing. The guys down to the south were complaining the other way. We listen to them because we like tequila. Less carbs and less fat than maple syrup.
Indeed.
And poor Robert's unable to come in because it's not letting him in this week.
Oh,
that's odd.
So it's misbehaving.
Actually, I think his issue would be the.
Is he using Chrome?
Robert, here's the suggestions that I could say: clear all your cookies. Close all your browser tabs and clear your cookies for your Chrome browser, and give it a try. There has been one other person who has never ever been able to come online through
Jenny.
When I'm using WebinarJam. Yep, Coach Jenny. She has never been able to do it when I've gone live to Facebook. Now, if I go live to to YouTube or just do regular WebinarJam inside the room, no problems whatsoever. But so it's probably something hinky up there to do with. So there's been a lot of complaints about Facebook in the past couple of weeks, though, David. And I sat back and I laughed. I offended someone, I guess, because I wasn't taking account of their feelings. But they kept fussing about all the changes that we're coming about.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I haven't heard one person 30 years ago ever complain and blame the pen and the paper.
Yeah.
That's all this is, pen and paper. And, so you just have to adjust how it's going to work.
Yeah, I never really, and that's why when I said, I have a complaint. It's really not a complaint. It's just something that annoys me. But I can change that if I change my own habits. If I get in the habit of making sure that I do that before, I just didn't think of it, right? So it's really not Facebook's fault. It's my fault. But I still think it's annoying. But when all the changes came out, I remember I was like, oh boy, everybody's going to be talking about this. And I was just like, whatever. Like, it's Facebook's rules. If you don't like it, don't go on Facebook. Like, whatever. I think it's a nice challenge.
There are two groups who've been advised to actually take everything over to their personal pages. The groups are realtors and MLM people, and they've been told by the people, their gurus, the people they look up to, that you should go on your personal page now.
Oh, really?
And
if you want an audience,
violates Facebook's terms of service.
Totally. I mean, if you go selling houses on your personal page, then.
And I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot, and this actually started occurring kind of before the announcements from Facebook. But I've seen a lot of people going live, and some of them have been pitching, and it's not just going live. It could be posts and all this different type of stuff. Some of them are sales pitching, and that's definitely violation of Facebook's terms of service. But some of them are, just kind of skating right there in the gray edge area, and so I can't really say, that's definitely violating it. What I can say is, Facebook's probably going to catch up, and we're all going to pay once again. It's kind of like what happened with the crap with YouTube. There was no real way to do anything except to spank everybody and deal with it as it is. So that's how it's going to be. Yeah, I think it's a real quick way for me to unfriend you if that's all the crap that starts popping up, because people don't realize that your personal timeline will stop showing up in people's news feeds if they haven't interacted with you, or if they've muted you or something. Whatever guru KOL person. KOL is what is KOL? KOL is key person. Anyway, I knew what it was. It's basically the same thing as an influencer, except they say KOL in China. They're morons. Fix your message. Fix what you're doing. It's obviously, that's the. I don't know which way you guys want to go, but here's a big thing. The market will tell you when you suck. Mm-hmm. They won't pay attention. They won't buy. But we don't like to listen to the market. We think it must be everything else that's out there. Sorry, it's not. It's usually you.
Well, the temptation of going live on your personal profile is real. The post that I did 2 weeks ago today attracted a comment. But
how is that going to fix anything?
No, well, it's not going to fix anything. It's broken.
I mean, if you're going live to your personal timeline, that doesn't have anything to do with your fans and followers. They may not be your friends. They're not going to see you unless they're following your personal timeline. And now you got to get people to sit there and say, well, you know what? Facebook doesn't like it when I sit there and give you this and you don't pay attention to it anyway. So come follow me over here.
Yeah. I got to say, I wasn't in business mode when I did it. It wasn't done for business reasons. I was just curious. And David, both Robert and yourself have had similar figures when you've gone live on your personal page. Bigger than normal.
A little bit.
David B.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking
so all three of us then. If you go live on your personal page, you get.
Oh, well, it's been a long time. I don't like going live to my personal timeline, to be honest. I don't like. Honestly, I don't like sharing stuff to my personal timeline, and the reason being is that there is a defined border between who I am personally and the other stuff that I do. And I don't want to infringe upon, that. That's me.
Yeah.
That's rare. I know it is.
I went live on my personal timeline, I don't know, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
At night. And it was just a random, I'm going to go live. But I wasn't, it wasn't talk show mode. It was just me goofing around with Facebook. And I went live Facebook natively. So I was playing around with all the different masks and everything you could do. I was just having fun and saying hello, hey, everybody. And a bunch of people were laughing and thought it was crazy and whatever. And we just had a good time. And, the response was huge compared to going live on a page.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the temptation's there. I mean, I have no intention of doing any live talk show or whatever on my page. I share stuff to my page, but it was like 500 views or something crazy. Like it was insane. And the next thing, and I only went to do it I thought, I'll just go live for about 15 minutes. Next thing you know, I looked down, I was live for an hour.
Well, that's it. Everything that we've learned, you knew beforehand, but everything that I've learned doing that from Blab right up to date means that you can go live on your timeline anytime you want with confidence. Because you know you can talk for that hour, you know you're not going to have a problem, and you know you're going to reach out to people and get them involved. Yeah. I mean, when I did mine, I actually chatted with well over 140 people. I've not spoken to since 2014. So in terms of a communications exercise, it was very good.
Yeah. Very good. Gentlemen, I have to make this one short today, so I hate to leave you, but I'm sure you guys can keep doing lots of chatting. I've got another appointment I've got to get to.
Okay.
So, but thanks for having me on, and please keep inviting me. And it's in my calendar to try to be here every Thursday at 12 o'clock.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for joining us, David, and see you later. See you Monday, at least.
Yes,
okay,
for sure, Stephen. David, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, see you, David.
Right, now, what's happened here? Oh, is that somebody else's silhouette? Ah, right, okay. We've got the vagaries of Facebook. We're grateful for everybody who's watching. If you are watching, please comment. We can't see your comments from within the WebinarJam platform, but we can bring them up on screen and we can see the comments and we can mention them. And if you have any questions at all about WebinarJam, ask David. If you have any questions at all about messenger bots, you can ask me.
Well, Karen McMillan says, I think a lot of people are still unsure on the technical aspects of going live. It's a new concept here in the UK. The more who try it, the better it will be received on personal and business pages. That's also one thing. I agree.
Yeah.
But another thing is, and I've talked about this, is that we're busy. We don't have time, live, when live's happening, we don't have time to stop. It's like sitting down and watching TV and, you're just watching the live as it's broadcasting, not live event, but live as it's broadcasting with commercials and all. You're not DVRing and Huluing and Netflixing, which Hulu's service has been down for the past couple of days. I've been very sad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's terrible.
Where's it?
People took to Twitter, of course, demanding credit, and then people responded to those idiots out there. Because it was really funny. It was like, you pay $12, $14 a month, and you want a credit. It doesn't even come to $1.
It costs more to process the credit than it would for value of the credit.
Yeah.
And we've all got to be aware with any service that's going over the internet that there is going to be a cost. I mean, speaking of which, in the UK, if you walk down any UK street, you will see attached to most houses a satellite dish, a Sky satellite dish, which was put there in the days when Sky Television was promoting, and there are currently 23 million Sky customers in the UK, most of whom who have a satellite dish attached to their house, pointed in the right direction, of course. And Sky now, well, you don't get the direction right, you don't get all the channels. Sky announced yesterday that starting in Italy, they're going to remove all satellite dishes, and everybody's got to switch over to the internet for their streamed programs.
Really?
So we're seeing the end of, satellite dishes are now old technology.
It is.
Yeah, it's been superseded. It's defunct. And those ugly obstructions which window cleaners love can disappear gradually, I would think. In fact, there might be an industry in recycling satellite dishes if millions of them are going to disappear.
Yeah, that's a good possibility.
Yeah. Take them in, refurbish them, or
well, what would you refurbish them for, though?
Sorry, break them down.
Break them down. Yeah, just I don't know if there's any valuable metals that are in there or not. I have a satellite service here.
Yeah.
And I've been tossing back and forth whether or not just to get rid of it, because most everything I'm waiting for one of these live broadcasting services, Hulu or YouTube TV or whoever, to actually have a decent amount of the channels that I really want to watch.
Yeah.
But the big issue that I have with those services is that now I can DVR it.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm going to DVR it, then I might as well watch it on one of the other, systems where I'm already paying for it, like Hulu. But you have to watch the commercials, and you can't skip through the commercials because they're still doing that. So I'm waiting for these premium services to work out an agreement where, because I will pay. I am one of the people that does not like the commercials, and I'm one of the people that will still be on my mobile device doing this, but I'm doing it during the show. Just a little extra premium. Hey, you don't have to see any of the commercials and that type of stuff. But it's probably years down the road. So all that type of advertisement is going to change. People's attention is not focused on that traditional type of advertising media.
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, it's been talked about, but what do you think the chances are of adverts being placed in broadcasts like ours?
I'm sure it'll start happening, just like it can happen on YouTube now.
Yeah.
When I set up a stream to go live on YouTube, I can insert ads that play at the beginning, and I see no. They got it. That's the way the bills get paid. Advertisement.
Very true. Very true. And we have to realize that people have got to make a profit to stay in business, and you've got to pay if you want.
Typically, yeah.
And we're paying at this very moment. We're paying with our time. I mean, we are. 1,000 shows a day on BeLive.tv are helping Facebook earn money, and that's just BeLive TV. Because basically, as you're watching this now, you can be scrolling through the adverts, or Facebook will be showing you adverts, and that's the way to actually make money. Yeah.
I saw somebody with BeLive TV the other day had, I think it was yesterday, had issues with microphones and stuff. It's still new technology, people.
It is.
Even though you're paying for it, and just it's funny how we expect. You weren't able to do this at this level 4 years ago.
True, it didn't exist.
4 years ago, it was Periscope and Meerkat coming out. It was from your mobile device. Yes, there was Hangouts on air. So let's go further back. So let's go 10 years. You weren't able to do this type of stuff. So we've made so much more of an advancement than 10 years ago.
Yeah, there's been a quantum leap in terms of what can be done from your desktop or from your mobile in terms of live broadcasting. We've got systems now like a peer-in, which, the free version allows 4 people to chat 24/7. And that is just seamless. That works perfectly. I can't remember having a problem on a peer-in at all. And we use it for fun, the get-togethers.
Yeah, I've run into an issue every once in a while, I think, with it, or people that have joined have run into an issue with it. But they're kind of few and far between. But then again, it's also kind of like WebinarJam. This iteration of it, I haven't seen many people have issues with it, and then all of a sudden now I've got 2 people that have the exact same issue because we're going live through Facebook, and that whole it's just something weird in that connection. Bridgetti's joining, and Steven, I do have a hard stop in like 6 to 15 minutes. So just to let you know.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I've got a hard stop too, so we're good on that. We'll not overrun today.
I will not be babbling on for hours afterwards.
Understood. Hello, Bridgetti.
Hello. Hey, how are you?
It's our South African water spokesman.
I had to take a break from all that.
Well, you've come to the right place. We're talking about anything and everything to do with live streaming. And David was with us for the first sort of 35 minutes. And it's good that, this is technology at its best, David. This is not British Internet, because welcome back, Bridgetti.
Don't know what I did there.
Not.
You were saying what are you talking about? Anything in particular? Anything exciting?
Exciting. Well, define exciting. I think that's the first thing.
I don't know. Anything that's got not to do with water prices and shortages will be exciting.
In that case, do you have satellite dishes attached to your properties?
Do I have satellite issues?
Sorry, satellite TV.
Oh, not connected. No. No.
Okay. Well, there's quite a few million in the UK, and they're all going to disappear. So that was my news of the day, because Sky announced it yesterday.
So what's the replacement?
The internet.
Serious?
Seriously, yeah. The dishes will disappear, and everybody will have super fast broadband, 200 gigabits, and that's it.
Oh wow, that's kind of newsy.
I'm sorry, did you say 200 gigabits?
No, I meant to say megabits, David. You caught that one. Yeah. But
go get my passport.
What does Tina have? Tina's got a gigabit, hasn't she?
Yeah, I think she's got gig internet. I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't think she has Google.
All right.
I've got gig internet, but it's not really gig internet. So it's all there's so much coaxial copper that's been laid in this country that the obvious answer is replace it all with fiber. Well, that takes a lot of time because we're a big country. So what do you do in the meantime? Well, you take the existing technology and you try and twist and morph it as much as you possibly can. And so that's basically what they're doing.
That's a bit of a shocker. I would have thought you would have had a whole rollout of fiber already.
I wish.
Me too.
It's Korea.
Wow.
Apparently, if you want to go to a country that's all fiber, go to Korea.
South Korea.
Well, I mean, we've still got a lot of copper, but the rollout of fiber has been pretty rapid here. The crazy thing is, in my block where I am, the one half of the block has got fiber, and my half has got copper. I was like, go figure. Can you not just do the entire block?
Well, and that's the thing. There is a lot of fiber that is laid throughout the country. It's not that we don't have a lot of fiber. There's the local cable company and the phone company both have for Rocky Mount, which is where I live. They have really good fiber, and you can get it for your business. They just don't have fiber to the home, or FTTH. So it's easy to lay the fiber out as like, a macro, but to get to the micro part, to get to each and every home, that's where the expense, because it's expensive to dig underground. I called about getting fiber when I started working for my house, and this was years ago, probably almost 9 years ago. I called just to inquire. I was like, what would the construction cost? That's what it would be to get fiber, because I've got a fiber node at the end of my road, which is a half mile away.
Right.
A half mile from that node to my house, the construction cost was going to be $14,000 out of my pocket.
Holy moly!
Yeah, that killed it right away. I was like, there's no point in that. What it came down to is I counted. I've got 14 driveways between me and the node, 14 neighbor driveways. And so it's, I was like, so I said, okay, you're talking, it's essentially $1,000 to go under a driveway. And it's really not that difficult of a process to do. It's not like the machinery is that expensive. The labor is certainly not that expensive, at least for, the skill set.
So where does that cost go? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You can't go out to competitive tender, can you? It's monopoly, really, for the area.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. And the phone company is the exact same way. So anyway, I'd love to
that's
have
the thing.
fiber here.
When these guys have got a monopoly, they can just do whatever the heck they like. And you're basically at their mercy. I mean, we had for years, there was one company that had the monopoly over our internet. And since then, we've had a whole host of them come up. So these guys have got competition now. But again, wherever they start digging up, they've still got to get permission from the state-owned entity, who essentially technically still has the monopoly because they've got the rights to the network.
Well, there's a city to my south, Wilson, and they got tired of all the excuses that were coming from the two utility companies, the local phone provider and the local cable provider, about getting some kind of fiber in the city. And so the city said, well, that's fine. We'll just go do it ourselves. And they did.
Yeah.
And that really set things off, because all of a sudden now a municipality became a utility and they could squeeze out the competition. There was, it was a lot of cities were all of a sudden like, well, hey, we could do that too. And then the courts decided to step in. I was like, no, wait a minute. Google has probably been one of the major upsetters with and they're not very hard and heavy into it because they found out it is really, really costly. But they're, building out fiber cities. And so Raleigh is close and where my mother lives. And so when Google decided to pick their town and chose her area eventually as a fiber build out, it was really funny. None of the other utility providers were doing anything. And all of a sudden, as soon as Google started doing it, then all the other utilities started showing up and saying, hey, we're doing the exact same thing. So
woke them all up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
do you guys
Kelly says in the comments, he goes, yeah, it's kind of like buying a 4K TV and having analog service. Yeah, pretty much.
Do you guys have like towns or cities where the entire area is just networked and you can connect via Wi-Fi?
Probably no. I mean, not even New York, not even a large municipality like that has that.
And you
there's
see
probably some Y-land areas.
No, we've got hotspots, but you can't rely on those.
Yeah.
If you go for a coffee, then you've got Wi-Fi. If you go for a pint, you've got Wi-Fi. If you go in the public library, you've got Wi-Fi. But walking around the street, you're on 4G, and you've no option really.
Yep. And really, it's a limitation of the current bandwidth for Wi-Fi abilities. 5G technology, which is we're hearing a little bit about it with like the local, like Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile, but it's actually got a lot more capability. The bandwidth is a lot more, it's a lot broader. It will offer a lot more, and I think that's probably the next step. But then, another thing is that you got to get a lot of chipsets to be matched up, and they're not. Even in like the iPhone, which I didn't realize Apple had gone back to this practice, but for whatever reason, if I go and so my iPhone is with Verizon, okay. I can take my iPhone to any other provider I want. Because of the chipset that's in my iPhone, because I got it from Verizon. If I had gone to AT&T, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
Because the chipset on AT&T is different. But I could take my Verizon iPhone and I could go and get AT&T service if I want. But I could not take my AT&T iPhone and go get Verizon service. Right. And they were doing that a long time ago when LTE first started. Yeah. Because the GSM and CDMA were different. But the LTE was there, and they stopped for a couple of phones, and apparently they've started doing it again. It's really strange.
Right. Just speaking about the iPhone, I think I saw, I can't be too sure, yesterday that the iPhone X is the end of the line for that series. There won't be an iPhone X Plus One.
There will not. They're taking some of the stuff that they like. They are going to. There's apparently, which is probably pretty good word of mouth. There's going to be 3 sizes, kind of like a small, medium, large, or medium, large, extra large. Apparently in China, they like their large screens, but they don't like the notch in the iPhone X, so it hasn't done very well over there. And that's a market that you need to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
Get in.
That's a market. Indeed it is.
Apparently we're not too worried about India because their government rules and regulations are just insane.
Indeed. Right, well, we're coming up towards the hour.
We are.
We've talked about a variety of things, including women's soccer and the USA and Germany team and the English team and a whole host of things. Bridgetti, your closing thoughts. I know hopefully we've given you a break from the water crisis. So on that note.
Say that again?
We've given you a break from the water crisis.
Ah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, our day 0 has been brought forward, so that's the exciting news from my side.
When is it now?
Not very good news. It's been brought forward to the 12th of April officially, but I have a suspicion that it's going to be a lot sooner than that. So yeah, it's one of those things that very quickly will turn into a humanitarian crisis.
Yeah.
So things are starting to feel a little tense on the ground. You know, like mass hysteria is starting to happen with buying. You know, it's starting to hit home for people.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit concerning, but you know, somehow we will have to find a way to ride out the storm.
Indeed. Right, my closing thoughts are: there is another show on the same channel in 30 minutes' time with myself and Raven Blair Glover. We will be on Lightstream, and anything can happen because Raven's there. So thank you. Well, it's true. So we're on Lightstream and looking forward to that. But thank you to everybody who's joined this show. And David, it's over to you as host.
Thanks everyone for showing up. Sorry that we didn't have our famous six-member panel discussion as we did last week. Maybe we will next week. Maybe we won't. Maybe we won't use this platform. Maybe we'll use something else.
Maybe we will.
Don't blame the pen and paper. It's not its fault. That's all we got to say. You know, if nobody's opening and reading your letter, it's not because of the pen and the paper. Maybe it's because of what you wrote sucks. So work on it. It's okay.
So
have a cuppa and you know, go back to the
a cup of tea solves everything, David.
It does. And
I'm kind of ready for one, I think.
Me too.
Well, there we go. And with that being said, we will see you all again. Same bat channel, same bat time next week.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye for now.